Are you guys enemies of Opie from Opie and Anthony?
Yeah, we've one of the first guys who really stuck on my show, Who Are These Podcasts, was Opie, because he left Sirius. Well, he was fired from Sirius, and he went to Westwood One and started a podcast, and it was brutally bad. So we reviewed his podcast when he first started doing it, and he debuted it #2 in all of podcasting. It's like, whoa, Opie's back. It's gone for 8 months. It's amazing. So we reviewed his podcast, and it was so bad we kind of jocktobered it, and a lot of people picked up on it. And like a month and a half later, I was on Anthony Cumia's show, and people were calling into Jim and Sam talking about it. So we've been on the Opie beat for many years now.
That's awesome. I'm a huge fan of OandA. But as most fans of OandA, really big on the Anthony and Jimmy and their classic bits and all the guests. Never very big on the Opie part of it. His whole collapse after the end of that show was like sad to watch, because I never had like any animosity towards Opie as a listener. It was just something where it was like, man, couldn't you tell that Jimmy was angling for this with Ant, and then like you took a caller at a time that really didn't vibe with what they were trying to create? So it was never an anger I had or even like a strong dislike. It was just frustration as a listener.
Same here. And I remember there were times when I was a huge Opie and Anthony fan, and I remember when Opie wasn't there and it was just Anthony and Jim, I was like, oh, this is going to be a great day. You know, I would have those thoughts, but I wasn't like actively disliking Opie for any reason.
Sure.
And this demise you're talking about is still going on today.
Oh, no.
Yeah, he started up a brand new YouTube channel called Opie Unleashed NYC. Where he walks around Manhattan with his phone out and just says awkward things to random people and puts that out as videos. It's brutally bad. I just had Anthony on my show this past week. We were going through some of the videos. It's hilarious. It's so cringe.
Oh, this isn't great. 22 hours ago, streamed 248 viewers.
Yeah.
Like, there's never been a guy that should have faded away with the dignity of, like, you can't, like, people rip on Opie all the time in the context of OandA, but you can't take away that, like, he was one of the main hosts on to me, the funniest radio show to ever exist. Everything pales in comparison. It was hysterical. And he was part of that. And he made fuck you money. And then he just insisted himself upon the audience further. And it was like, even as it was happening, I remember listening and like I was falling asleep in like 2015 after like those tell-all episodes were being released with Anthony and Jim and Sam and Opie, and they were all kind of battling with their own uploads, and just thinking like, man, this is going to be sad because Anthony and Jimmy are going to succeed to some measure or another, especially Jim, and he's not. And it's going to like take any doubt he had about not being, quote, worthy of his success and just re-solidify it in his mind.
No, he's a narcissist, so he doubles down. He literally just went on his show recently. When I say show, Kyle, are you familiar with Opie and Opie and Anthony at all?
Of course, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you know what we're talking about. So Opie 100%. Does a thing. He streams every morning, and he's in his Manhattan apartment overlooking the city, beautiful view, you know, $20 million apartment, whatever it is. And so he's showing that off, and he gets up early before the sun's up, and he streams to dozens of people.
Yeah.
Know why. And he just said recently on his stream that, you know, I should have walked away from Opie and Anthony. I just didn't have the balls to do it, but I should have done it. And he was talking about walking away in the year 2000. So he's going back and reinventing history and saying, like, I would have been just as successful without Jim and Anthony. And remember, he was the one who wanted to break up the show before the show got broken up. He's like, I could do this with other people. And then what happened? He brought in Vic Henley and Sherrod Small, and nobody cared. He went to afternoons, and then
not only was he a drag on the comedy, and he could throw this wrench into it, but also he was responsible for some of the moments that gave the show a bad name and just made everybody look bad. Like, they did so much edgy stuff that you probably shouldn't actually go out and like torture a homeless man. Or what was that him or was that Ant?
The cake
no, that was Opie.
Yeah.
Good.
And that was one of those things that like Ant and Jimmy were uncomfortable with because like they couldn't come right out and say it during a broadcast, but they clearly wanted to be like Opie, like, that was a genuine mean thing you did to a homeless guy. Have you noticed that all the people we're ripping on, like the retards that come into our studio, come here of their own volition? Like, we're making fun of other comics promoting gigs right now or internet videos. Like, you went out of your way to stomp on a homeless guy's cake. That's It's
By the way,
really
that video resurfaces every couple of years. A subreddit picks up on it or something, or Twitter, and it just starts circulating again. Everyone's like, "Who's this asshole?"
Yeah,
So,
people are like, that's the most repugnant thing I've ever seen. Why have I never heard of this piece of shit? They're actually that's Opie from OandA. Wow, did he get canceled? Oh, they got him. Oh, damn.
they got him.
They got him. Oh.